everybody, to the first episode of A.H.A, or A.K.A. Addicts Helping Addicts, sponsored by New Beginnings. We are a recovery-based podcast where we share stories of hope and resilience on the journey of addiction and recovery. Here you'll find a safe space to confront the darkness and embrace the light. You'll be able to listen to the stories of those who walked the path before you. And in doing so, you may discover the strength that lies within your own self. On this show, we want to celebrate the victories we achieve. No matter how small they may seem, we want to honor the struggles we face every day and lift each other up, even when the roads ahead seem uncertain. So, to addiction, we want you to know this. You may have taken over people's lives, but recovery is taking back control, one person at a time, one day at a time, one step at a time, whatever it takes. We will rise above the ashes, just like phoenixes, and reclaim our lives. Mountains have been moved a pebble at a time, so it can be done, and it will be done again. And for those in the midst of active addiction, don't give up. Your story is far from over. In fact, the most powerful chapters are yet to be written. And we just want you to know that you're not alone. We stand together in this. And only by standing together, we can and will shatter the chains of addiction. And then we'll shine brighter than ever before. So join us on this journey of transformation, where every episode will leave you with a feeling of hope, a feeling of guidance, a reminder that recovery is possible. Let's walk this path together and light the way for those who come next. From darkness to light, we will rise. My name is Kyle, and I'm an addict. And here's a short summary of my life. We can get into detail in other episodes, but for now, just, here it goes, I guess. My life was never really easy, and I've never dealt with trauma very well. I've always buried it. Just hit it with laughter and just, But when I was 15 is when my life really took a turn. More for the worse. My biological father, he was a drug dealer. He was an addict. He died of an overdose. He just got released from prison, and he died of an overdose. I was supposed to go meet him that day, but the weather prevented it, so I couldn't see him. And then, come to find out, I would have been the one finding his lifeless body. So it was hard after he died, and the guilt of not being able to say goodbye, and it just haunted me. And a few months after that, we had a 4th of July party, and I lost a best friend, like a brother to me. We had a 4th of July party, and the cannon exploded, and a piece hit him in the throat. And after that, it was my cannon, and I just feel guilty. So ever since then, the grief and guilt just became unbearable. I turned to drugs to numb the pain, and, my addiction just escalated over the years, claiming more victims along the way. Well, my stepfather, Mike, who had become a father to me, he succumbed to his alcoholic addiction and depression. He ended up taking his own life in front of my mother and I, and that was intense, very intense. So my addiction just intensified. I went deeper and deeper into depression and addiction and masking my emotions, and it didn't, it took until my daughter was placed in DCF custody for me to realize, the severity of my situation. My daughter had reported to the school that we were using and selling drugs. She didn't want to be around it anymore, and I get it. I understand it. And after a year with her in DCF custody, the threat of her getting adopted, getting adopted out really lit a fire under me. So I went to rehab, and I knew I could live without drugs, but I know I can't live without her. So in rehab, I met some really great people that taught me life is worth living without drugs. And I began to understand that addicts don't need judgment. They need support and guidance. And in my journey, I learned, the importance of community and empathy and compassion. I realized that addiction doesn't discriminate, and that we're all just one step away from stepping in that hole. But I also learned that recovery is possible, and that we can help each other get out of that hole. Speaking of which, the story of the addict in the hole is a story that resonated with me deeply in rehab. I realized I wanted to be the person who reaches down and pulls other addicts out of the hole, just like someone did for me, and I want to help break the cycle of addiction and empower others to find their path to recovery. Through new beginnings and A.H.A, I want to create like a safe, supportive community where addicts can find hope, find healing, and just, I guess, find a second chance at life. I remember the feeling of being trapped in addiction. It's like being in a dark hole with no way out, you know. But I also remember that moment when someone reached down and pulled me out, giving me a second chance. And that's what we want to do. That's what we want to offer to others. We want to be the light in the darkness. We want to be the hand that reaches out and pulls people out of the hole. We want to help others find their way out of the hole and into a life of purpose and meaning. So, today, I guess I'm proud to say that I'm a recovering addict, and now I'm dedicated to helping others find their way to recovery. I know that addiction doesn't define us, and that we all have the power to change our stories. And I want to help others rewrite their stories to find a new narrative that's filled with hope and possibility. Through our work with New Beginnings and A.H.A and my story, I hope to inspire others to seek help and find their own path to recovery. New beginnings are often disguised as painful endings, but with courage and resilience, you can transform your struggles into stepping stones. Addiction may have held you back, but recovery can set you free. So just embrace the journey, imperfections and all, and just know that every day is a chance to rewrite your story. You're stronger than your addiction and braver than you believe, and you have the ability to move mountains. Know this. And I guess on that note, I'll just hand it over to Kareem.
My name is KJ Kareem. Um, I am the other half of co-host of A.H.A podcast. And a little background about me. I am a licensed nurse. Been in the medical field for about a good 20 years. Um, and so then about maybe 10 years of my recent practice has been in psychiatric addiction health. So that is where my niche is. I got into the medical field. I originally wanted to be a doctor, and now I'm actually pursuing that. But I went into nursing. That's been great. It's been a great journey. I've experienced a lot. Found, like I said, my niche. I got into psychiatric addiction treatment because, for one, mental health and addiction is a very underserved sector of healthcare. So there's just a lot of stigma, and there's not a lot of good, solid education. So, I mean, it's still pretty much ongoing, and there's different types of treatment to deal with it, to different type of behavioral therapies. But it's just like this ongoing thing. But a lot of people really don't understand it still, and mostly on, just regular people on the outside. So what I like, where I come from, it is a lot of education and teaching people and helping them to understand. But yeah, so me being in mental health and addiction, my my father, who is deceased, he was an alcoholic and had some mental health issues. And so it started off with me trying to understand that and realizing that I also shared something. I didn't go down a destructive path, but I recognized the potential to do that. So over like I said, the course of 10 years, I've, really learned a lot, and I've been able to apply some things to my own personal life. And so But as a nurse, I'm very limited. I can do things, but I'm
That's
limited.
awesome. This week's guest is Ren Chase. He's a recovering alcoholic and addict. Ren, if you want to share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I do. I've been dealing with addiction and stuff for a while. Um, and it's certainly a struggle. I've had some success, I've had some failures, and I've tried to utilize the tools that are available to me via groups and inpatient and outpatient and these things. But it continues to be difficult, and it's certainly not an easy path to walk. So I certainly sympathize with anybody who is dealing with this stuff. I think we all sort of hear the same stories in these rooms. Um, whether it's trauma in our past or just difficulties that we've had to deal with, and I think a lot of these kind of addictions deal with like stem from self-medication. And I really have noticed that that's sort of my deal is I'm self-medicating to try to deal with some of these things. And so there's obviously better ways to um, help you than to use drugs and alcohol to do that. And so I myself am trying to sort of through all of my dealings with inpatient or outpatient or therapy or even you're dealing with primary care doctors and medication and mat, and these kind of things. Just trying to find the pieces that work best for me. I think it's a very personal journey, and so I'm trying to do that. Trying to find these pieces that will eventually build the puzzle that helps me. So yeah, so again, thank you for having me, and I'm really happy to be here and help discuss this because I think it's very important to especially establish a community to be part of a group of people, whether however that may be. Um, it's a very important thing to help. The isolation and such of addiction is very damaging, and so I think like talking about this stuff is very important. So I really appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for being on.
Of course.
I think everyone struggles with addiction differently, but the first steps were the hardest for me, I think. Just realizing I had a problem, and everyone told me I was an addict, but I was like, no, I can stop whenever. And then my daughter got taken away, and then I hit rock bottom once again, and then I used more and more when she was gone because I was depressed. She was gone, so I just got in this cycle that I had to get out of, and then I was forced into rehab to get her back, and yeah, went from there.
I feel like everybody, from my experience just working in treatment, I feel like, and I've heard like therapists say this, so I think there's like different schools of thought. Um, I feel like everybody has to find that thing, that one thing that they're, a lot of times I hear you have to do it for yourself. Um, and I don't know if this sounds right, but sometimes some people can't do it for themselves. Sometimes they need something else. So it could be your child, it could be a family member, it could be something. So everybody has to find that one thing, and or you have to get to a point where you're just like, I'm tired, I can't do it anymore. So it's either you're doing it, you have a goal, or you're just gotten to the point where enough is enough. And it's so different for everybody. Some people it's usually literally the brink of death, and for some people it's not. Sometimes for some people it could just be some kind of little moment or the aha moment. That just that period where it's like, enough is enough. I wasn't around my dad was an alcoholic. I wasn't around him, and I wish I could have known what he did to stop. Um, I know there are some people who just simply stop, and I wish I knew what it was that what it was for him. Um, some people have that ability, so it's just different. But that's what I've seen personally, and working and treatment around people. It's just going to be different. It's there. No one's going to follow that same pathway of what it's going to take to stop. It's just going to be different.
No, Kareem, I totally agree. It is, then it's a sort of blessing and a curse kind of a thing where we're like, that is everybody is different, and so everyone has their own path, which is great because you can find your own path and like you don't have to do X, Y, Z like everyone else does. But
That's my
you know,
problem.
you also have to
Pushing
find
my
your own path.
recovery. Sorry.
Right. So like sometimes, yeah, sometimes I mean maybe 12 steps is the best thing in the world, and maybe it's not, and maybe IOP is perfect and inpatient works or not. It's but so it's yeah, like I said, like it can be wonderful because you can find your own way because everyone is different as you said, Cream. But it's also difficult because then you have to find your own way, and it can be very challenging. So I feel that yeah, I agree.
I
Yeah.
for some I and again, and when you say that, it's making me remember now. I'm thinking back, and I also realize, some people do need their hand held through it. Some people, I realize that everybody does not have the same willpower. Everybody does not have the same ability to like really figure it out. And that's why, one of the things I noticed, especially the issue I saw with the return rate, was the aftercare component. And so if the aftercare was not strong, if it wasn't structured, if there wasn't any real follow up, you know, you found that person kind of coming right back. You know, one of the things I used to do was being a nurse case manager, I would go that extra mile. Like if they had medical issues, just everything possible, you know, I would try to plug them in, make sure they got their providers, make sure they got to their appointments. If it was helping them with their resume, so they can have a job, um, everything matters. Like I think for people who take for granted those things, they don't understand how important it is for the person who's trying to get back on their feet. So having a place to stay, safety. We're looking at the needs. So a place to sleep, a place you can be safe, a place, having food. So all these simple things are important. So if the aftercare is not strong, you find them coming back quite frequently, quite often. Some people need a little bit longer, you know, and so that's one of the things that I personally just found was just like that to me was almost an ensuring factor that they would do better is if their aftercare was strong. And I mean, there's only so much you can do, but at least if you try to plug in as many holes as possible, you kind of give them a little more of a better chance of really staying on their recovery and again keeping in touch, making sure that they have their meetings. Everybody doesn't always, I think you kind of said that everybody doesn't always do the 12 steps. Everybody has a different way. Everybody's not always religious, so you also then have to find what works for that person. Maybe they don't want to, maybe they don't believe in God, so they may believe in something else, so you have to try to help them to try to find that point, so that way it's something they agree with, and they can continue in the way that works for them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with aftercare. Um, but a lot of addicts, they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have anyone to support them. They just get out and then on the street, and then they're depressed because they got nothing. They got nowhere to sleep. They got nothing to eat. So aftercare, yeah, somewhere to go, having a good plan in place when you get out, for sure. But when you were working at the place where I went, and also Renwin. I don't know if I should name it yet, but I know your support made all the difference for me. Like we talked about the other day, where you gave me that slipped me that $50, and in my brain, I normally would have went, oh, drugs, but I was like, okay, there's food and cigarettes at the time. I don't smoke cigarettes anymore, but my brain changed, and I didn't realize it over 2 weeks. And I know it's only 2 weeks, but definitely a good support system, having people that care for you, having people in your corner that will have your back, that helped me a lot. That meant a lot to me. Just want you to know that.
I think it's very inspiring for people as well. Like if they have somebody who they feel believes in them, again, that's kind of going back to it.
Exactly.
Sometimes if someone is willing to believe in them, that can also be something that can be a motivator to stay on recovery. So, um, and with that, I mean, again, it's just about the aftercare. I just feel like, sending a person, and it's not anybody's fault. I mean, I'd never been to Vermont and I didn't realize how rural it was. So there's not a lot of resources. So, I don't know what can be done about that, but that is a big factor. You discharge somebody from treatment and it's like, okay, now what do? They don't have a job, they don't have money, they may not have a place to go. So that's almost kind of natural that a potential natural, what's the word I want to use? It's just going to go back to what's familiar, potentially. So for survival, it's a survival situation. The addict, while they're on the street, they're surviving, whatever it takes. And if they don't have what they need when they're discharged, they did their time, and then they're gone. It's like, okay, well, if there's nothing in place, it just runs the risk. So I personally, and whatever I can, great or small, I'm just like, I will do what I can to help. So yeah, that's just personally how I feel. Yeah.
I guess we should clear up this a little bit. Kareem was a nurse at this rehab facility that Ren and I attended.
We can,
And
you know,
yeah, we could say that, right?
Yeah, that's up to you guys.
it's fine with me. Go, go, go.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so Ren and I attended this rehab, and my first day, um, Kareem did my intake,
Mhm.
and he was friendly. It was his first day there, so we kind of connected. I came in at dinner time.
Through my
I
phone.
was on the streets, not even hungry, or I was very hungry at the time. Nothing to eat. And that's the other thing about rehab. They really have a lot of food there.
Yeah, that's
So
Yeah,
they want to keep you healthy, man.
yeah, you
so I
chow
came in
down.
at dinner time,
Yeah, you
and I
chow
shared a
down.
Rice Krispie treat with Karim. So
Mhm.
that's how we connected. And
That's
then he was
that's
just
very sweet.
every day he would check in on me, making sure I was doing what I needed to do, making sure I had my resume put together, setting up emails. So I mean, he went above and beyond, and I think we need more people in those positions that are willing to go above and beyond. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
I totally agree. Yeah, you know, that's the thing is like, with my, but whether it's mental health or addiction or what have you, I think, isolation and, withdrawing and being in your little is that's what happens. And it's like, it's very natural and it's very hard sometimes to get out of that and to find people like Kareem who are professionals who are like there to help you and they do care and Kareem cares. He's a really good guy and a really gentleman, he and a
making him blush.
professional medical personal who is there for you and it feels kind of weird sometimes. It's like, I don't, I'll do it on my own. I'll just like, I'll rough it out. I'll just, it doesn't, I think we've all, Kyle and I and anybody else has learned it doesn't work. So having people like that to, you know, yeah, do anything like yeah, the resume thing or or just being like there to listen to and like almost like a therapist and kind of a thing is like that's huge. So yeah, I
Little things.
I applaud everything you do, Cream, and all those like you that have helped me. Um, it's huge. It really is huge.
Like I remember there are nights, especially working on night shift. I know everything happens in the day, but at night sometimes they're just I'm just gonna call them stragglers. So, you
I
know,
found you. I came to see you.
Yeah, like
yeah, yeah, and there are people who, would come in late at night and they'll be struggling and, just need someone to talk to. And that's another thing that's important. A lot of times, and what I've seen, addicts don't always have someone that really want to hear them out a lot of times. And so then they feel a bit uncomfortable to talk. And so a lot of times at night, they come in and I'm just like, they're just kind of things are just going through their head. And it's just like, well, let's talk it out. Sometimes you got to get it out of your head. When you can get it out of your head, your mind is full of things all the time. So it's kind of hard to sort through your thoughts. So when you can say it out loud and hear yourself say it, and sometimes you can kind of like also problem solve that way. So I really did enjoy. I always enjoy, when people come in and just want to talk and just, get it out. So I just really enjoy problem solving and helping people figure things out. Because it's hard, already, a lot of people come from, backgrounds where people have discarded them, given up. And when you're dealing with somebody who doesn't know your background, they're not going to be prejudiced. They're not going to hold anything against you because they know nothing about you. Your family knows a lot about you, so they're always going to look at you with the eyebrow raised, or whoever it is that was in your life. So somebody who doesn't know anything about you is not going to judge you. They're going to, for the most part, take you for what you say and kind of encourage you. So that's kind of how I do it. I don't like to, judge people. It's like encourage them. How do you want to go about accomplishing this? Or what do you feel like, is going to work? So just helping them work through that, and that's what I like. And that's what I think in general, everybody could benefit from that. But definitely when it comes to treatment, you know, allowing people to really just like to say what they feel, get it out. That's also therapeutic. It's a lot of stuff that addicts have held up inside and they don't know how to unravel it, and really just like, oh wow. I think when they're given the chance to really just like say it out loud, then they have their aha moment sometimes, you know, and just like,
yeah,
okay, this is what I need to do, or this is what I should do, or whatever conclusion that they come to.
talking is harder though. If you don't get it out, you're gonna bury it with drugs or you're gonna bury it with something else. But it's
Yes,
uncomfortable. But growth happens when you're uncomfortable. So we got to learn to live comfortably, uncomfortable, I guess.
no, no, no. I get you.
You
I
know what I
mean,
mean?
yeah, because well, that's how self-medication works. Is um, it's sometimes it's difficult to sit with your thoughts and
For
just
sure.
lay in bed and like not feel good about yourself. Like that sucks. And obviously, when you have your brain go like, we know how to fix this. It's this. It's
Yeah.
your drug of choice.
Simple.
Your drug of challenge. Substance of challenge. It's yeah. So yeah, that's super huge, and yeah, you're right. It's again like back to isolation and like there's a lot of fatigue that I find. I've been dealing with it a lot of years, and I find fatigue where I'm sick and tired of dealing with this, and but then my as you said, Queen, you have family or friends or what have you, and maybe they're not, because they get tired too. They're like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, no, neither do I. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
but it's so you got to sort of find it's work, man. It's work. I think that's it's down to it. It's just like it's work to get better, and in any capacity, whether it's addiction or I've been super sick before, and you got to work through it, and it's not what you want to do. It's not.
I know I got sick of the chase, the waking up, feeling sick. going,
Yeah,
okay, I can't get through my day. I gotta find something.
it's
And it,
fatigue,
like you
man.
said, it does get exhausting.
Like
It's just a
I'm done
common,
with done with it.
constant battle. Yeah, definitely
Yeah,
exhausting.
so yeah, you finally hit a wall, and you're like, I gotta put this work. Whether it's getting your substantive challenge in your body to not be sick, take that work and put it into a more positive. But it's easier said than done. All of it. It's a real challenge, and um, even even the what you Kyle and I did, in I'm gonna say Valley Vista. We're Valley
All right, there it is. Crack it open.
Vista.
VV.
Finally. No, but like we were peer mentors, right? So we're helping people, like people who I won't say names, but like there's a gentleman who he sweat through all of it and like soiled his bedding because he was going through like serious withdrawal from drugs and stuff. And so what we got him new stuff, right? We got him new stuff. We helped him out. We got him clean. Got him a shower, and we were trying to help people like who were living in tents and had like really serious like psychological like stresses, and trying to be like, hey man, like, don't worry, we'll get your laundry clean, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll get you food, we'll do, like that kind of thing. It's really, it was very valuable to me to help people and like
Indeed.
that kind of like giving back and such. But it also is exhausting too, to because you're dealing with your own deal, and you're so I sympathize with people like Kareem, who like it is work. It's really hard to even just to be like that kind of a listening ear, and sometimes it's not so easy. So I mean the whole thing is just work, and it so yeah, I applaud anybody who's in this game, man.
That's
Like,
what that's where I found that I like doing this kind of stuff in this
yeah,
field, like Kareem,
yeah,
because it's so rewarding. Like when we were peer
right.
mentors, like
Hmm.
people come to us
Yeah,
and we could solve their problems. And in there, they're I guess the problems that addicts have in there are minute. Like you
well,
said, like
it's
they're
just
freaking out over dirty laundry. And
it's
there's
just,
and
it's just a
there's washer and
scale
dryer on
thing.
site.
It's just a scale thing. It's just like like I
Yeah.
mean, if you think about it, like yeah, I came from a warm home and I had food and stuff, and then other people didn't, and it's like it's just a scale thing. It's like um, what is vital, like vital meaning living, like like is very different from one person to the next. And so yeah, it was I got a lot out of being like, dude, like whatever I could do to be like somebody to be like, dude, just chill out, I got you, I'll take care of your problem, you go get something to eat, just
You've done it
relax.
for me.
Yeah, and like just like that was huge, and like it really helped me um develop as a person, honestly, and as someone who was dealing with my own things that I don't know, it was very valuable. I liked it a lot, and I think that's part of my recovery is like that service, like the giving back kind of a thing.
You
I
can only
didn't
keep what you have by giving it away.
perfect, yeah.
I
So
like
like
that.
I didn't really get that for a long time. I was like, it was the thing was like I was like I'm a medically sick person. I need to go to the doctor, get pills, man. Like,
Fix me.
like fix it. And that's not it's not that simple. There's a lot more to it, and that's one of the things that it is important. So I I'm with you.
Yeah, I service to people, helping people.
Mhm.
Um, it for one, it does kind of help you kind of like put yourself to the side for a second and look at somebody else's struggle. And there is something rewarding that comes out of seeing someone benefit from whatever service you provide. And then afterwards, you get like a little reflection. Then you kind of look back at in your own situation. and if you can allow it, it can motivate you. And when you continue to do service, and yeah, it can be hard. In my capacity, it can be hard because some people initially, when they're coming in for treatment, they're going through so much that they also don't really see. They may unintentionally be unappreciative, so that can be hard for us. Big challenge. And what I wanted to say while you were talking is like, this part of medicine, it's I still want to say it's kind of new because nurses who come into it, they the part that I notice that they struggle with is the addiction. So they are like, why, how, if you want to change, you can. And then they don't understand the behavioral part. So when the person is intentionally and sometimes unintentionally could be mean or attack you, um, it is human nature to probably respond. So it takes a long time. It really takes a long time first to learn how to process as well what's happening and not be reactive. So I don't want to make it sound easy because it's not. So um, so once the person in this capacity, learns how to do that, they can sometimes look past all that and they can stay in service because what I found is usually when that person has behaved a certain way, they come back around and they try to make amends for what they've done. And so it does then allow you to not take it personally and keep going. I find that though, unfortunately, a lot of nurses, I don't want to, in the back when the doors close, I'm privy to hear things, and it's terrible because when I hear things about how they feel, then I wonder when they take that back outside, what are they doing to make the situation better or worse? So it really is important to. I think now I'm trying to speak to art to my side that if you're gonna be in this, to really make sure that you really want to be in this and really try to learn and understand because it's very hard. If anything, I think most of the work, I mean, the work is the addiction and the drugs, but to me, it's just really like getting through to that person as well. Really understanding what they're going through, trying to really, be present. Again, because like I said, most people don't have anyone to be present for them to really listen to them to really believe. So I think it's really important for anybody who wants to work in treatment to really just like, it's going to be some bumps, but you really have to want to do it. And that's why I'm pursuing higher education to do that because I'm just like, I've been in it long enough where I'm just like, I want to do more. I'm limited as a nurse. So I want to do a whole lot more, than I can now. Um, I just really I still feel like this is an underserved part of medicine that doesn't get the kind of attention that it needs. And in cases, it's not always everybody's fault. It's a funding issue, of course, and every state is different, but I just still feel like it's very underserved. It's misunderstood. A lot of doctors still don't really understand, you know, a lot of doctors, sometimes even therapists, forget that they're there for the person, and they try to, do things their way instead of what works for the actual person. So that's what I see a lot of on my side is that making sure that the treatment is for them and not for what you think works. But it's kind of 50-50. We are the provider, but at the same time, making sure that the other person's involved, and that they, we're understanding what actually works so that way they can actually go through their journey the safest possible way towards success.
I want to touch base on what you said about nurses and stuff being like, "Oh, just quit. It's just easy. You got a problem? Just stop it." I heard that so much when I was using, and I was at the point where I wanted to stop so bad. So it just really made me mad, like pissed me right off. Like, oh, just stop. Why can't you just quit? You think I would have done that if I had the ability to do that? You know what I mean? And that's why I think we need more addicts helping addicts because we've been there. We know we've been through the struggles. We've been at your lowest point when you were using. We've been there too. we've all had that low point, that same low point, and that's what helped me was realizing that we're not alone, that everyone's been through it. So although people from the medical field, help like you're great, but I think we should get more addicts into that field because we've been through it. We've been through hell, you know. We appreciate life more because we've been at lower spots. Like now I celebrate every little victory. The sun's out. I'm like, oh, beautiful day. It's gonna be a great day. Well, before, like, or we appreciate. I guess what I'm trying to say is we appreciate the little things more because we haven't had them. I don't know.
I think I can speak to that. I think first off, before I say that, I would like to just recognize you, Kareem. Thank you for your work with people like us that what you were just speaking about is huge. I realize there's fatigue there. There's yeah, I mean I you uh, withstand abuse from people who are, and perhaps this is it's obviously misguided, misdirected abuse. They're dealing with like horrible life situations and stuff, but like you're the front line, right? So you bear the brunt of it, and that must be very difficult. And I think maybe Kyle and I dealt with a little bit of that, trying to help people out, but it's nothing compared to I don't know how long you've been doing this. I'm sure it's longer than 2 weeks.
Oh
so,
no,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's been a minute. Yeah,
so,
we yeah.
so anyway, I appreciate your work, again and again, and it can't be easy, and I admire your ambition to grow and to do more. I would like to do that the same way, and I know Kyle, is an ambitious person, and we'd like to do that too. So back to Kyle's comment about like this like sunlight thing. I totally get that. Like there's okay, so it's obviously like I mean, everybody knows. Like your brain gets changed when you're an addict, you know, um, and your ability to enjoy things gets diminished without your substance of choice or substance of challenge is the best way to say it. A substance of challenge. I like that.
Me too.
And so, but when I've been sober for a while, and I say yeah, I drive around. Sometimes the sun peeks through the clouds, and I'm like, I'm happy. Like what? Like that feels so weird. Like, why am I
Unnatural.
happy? Yeah, natural. But you're like, no, this is what it's supposed to be. Like this is how it's supposed to work. It's a it's it's a very rewarding path to sobriety. It's incredibly hard, but it does have these rewarding, and sometimes it is just that. It's just like you're just happy for a moment, and you don't really
Yeah.
know why, and um, it's great. And then you realize like, oh shit, like this is like how you're supposed to feel. Like this is how it's supposed to be. So it's something to strive for.
I
Sorry.
feel guilty.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. I totally,
From the other addicts that are still in their dark spot, I feel
yeah.
like I can't enjoy fully
Well, I feel,
because
yeah.
I'm still worrying about it.
Well, I feel like, yeah. I mean, okay. Addiction is something that like destroys, like shreds your like self identity and your self confidence and your self, like everything. So yeah, so having that pride or happiness or these like very normal feelings does feel unnatural and sometimes feel yeah you it's like survivor guilt or something. You're like you feel guilty. You're like why do I get this? And yeah, that's huge. Shoot, I hadn't thought about
That can be a little tricky trap itself because if you don't feel like you deserve or anything,
that. Right.
you know, It could be just that little crack that sends you right back down. You
fully.
know, I think you know giving back, doing what you can in whatever capacity. You know what Kyle's attempting to do now. You know, I mean, one thing I do also realize is, again, on my side, I can't save them all. There's some people, I know a few people who are just like, I'm just going to do it till I die. That's just it.
Yeah.
I literally know. And the best that I can do is just harm reduction for them. Literally, that's it. So you do what you can. You know, um, Kyle was inspired to start doing his own meetings, and he's doing this, and so you reach who you can, and you guys. And one of the things is a lot of people don't realize that you guys might spiral down, but you guys have a lot of talent. It's like shrouded by the addiction. So that's what obviously everybody sees, but peel that back a little bit. You guys all have different types of talents that you guys come from, you know, and you just need an opportunity to access that, dig back down into, your talents, and you use those, and you reach out, to whoever's willing to listen, to whoever needs, I like to say whoever you're guided to help, because we just
Mhm.
also have to know our limits. We have to know our limits, but whoever you feel you have the capacity to help, and just be present. You know, I can't honestly speak to the survivor skill, but I just feel like that. When you do climb out, you then take your talents that you have, and you just try to give back, and you try to help who you can.
Yeah, that's why I started New Beginnings. First of all, the name. I was getting out of rehab. You had tried to set up an email for me. You were like, "What do you want it to be?" And I'm like, "Fresh start." Ooh, New Beginnings. Because we all have a second chance at new beginnings,
Mhm.
and I guess I'm just blessed for having that chance and having you guys in my life. I remember breaking down, sharing the first time I shared Ren.
Mhm.
Remember in group where I'm just bawling in my own lap.
Yeah.
It was hard, and then leaving that meeting, everyone was silently like not making me feel awkward, but patting me in the back, like, "Hey man,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing. We've been there, we got your back," and just that's what I want to provide. Through A.H.A. and New Beginnings. And you guys and your stories, we can inspire others, and we can make change. That's our goal,
You know
to
what
be
that
the hand to pull the addict out of the hole.
Right, right. I was waiting for you to make that like analogy. Go ahead, go do it.
No, I
Tell
already
me.
did it in my intro.
Oh, you did? All
Yeah,
right. No, it's a great analogy, and it is. That's the thing is like, again, I keep coming back to the scene, like we shut the door, man. We stay in our little bubble and we twirl in, and it's there's no help there. There's nothing new. Like we can't change things without anything new, right? So having,
nothing changes if nothing changes.
bingo. So yes, having people in your life who maybe have some different answers, or even just, yeah, like you said, like like sometimes it is, yeah, Kareem said this as well. You're just like, sometimes you like you need to get it out, and have someone just they don't have to even say anything, like just to have a sounding board to do that is huge, because you do feel so isolated and so alone. And so, yeah, and I'm glad that you had that experience, Kyle, that like you can be vulnerable, and people who understand that vulnerability and understand that pain won't react negatively to that. They react with comfort and kindness and belonging, and suddenly that feels really like, well, shit, like that's like the thing is, like, that's what, like, the human experience is supposed to be. The whole thing of, like, addiction is giving up everything for one thing, right? And recovery is giving up one thing for everything. Like, that's the everything. It's like
Absolutely.
this belonging and sociability and comfort and
All right. Thanking you for coming on because you're our guest.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, thank you for having me. I'm very, very happy to have participated in this. I would like to do it again if you guys are up for it. This has actually been very therapeutic and helpful for me. Um, and and yeah, no, it's always good to talk to you guys. You guys are very smart people and have a lot of wisdom, a lot of experience. It's huge. It really is huge. So, thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, man.
You got it.
Love having you on. And we're definitely going to have you on again.
Yeah, let's do it, brother.
You speak so well.
Thank you so much.
Well, you've already said that, so I can't say it.
Oh, shoot.
You can say it again. I'm cool with more compliments. I'm good with that.
Give them
Yeah,
to me.
no, it's very I think this is this is our first episode, and we hope to definitely really dive deeper into more issues and topics. So
Mhm.
I really think that it's good to be able to sit down and hear different perspectives and journeys and everything. And you know I believe that our goal is, to have someone see this and be able to resonate with it and be like, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
and take something from it, you know. Um, and if they don't have anyone to talk to, hopefully they feel comfortable reaching out, to whoever they see on this and just say, hey, I really like what you said, this is where I am, and whatever you think. So I'm really excited for the potential of that happening, to be able to engage with people, again, on both sides, the addict and the non-addict as well. So I'm definitely looking forward to being able to dive into more things, to really just engage so many people, about wherever they are, with this journey.
Absolutely. Like you said, perspective is everything. Like, why can't you just stop using? Just quit. That's one perspective. And then the addict's like, I can't. I've tried, So just hearing different people's point of views, then we'll better understand the disease, I guess.
Mhm. No, 1,000%. And I think, I'm sure you'll leave. I know the New Beginnings has a email address at least. So I think, leaving that at the end of this will help people. They could reach out to, and you could put all our names down, or I don't know, whatever. And
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, we can do collectively a thing. So yeah, this is a really good thing. I'm really happy to be a part of this, and thank you both for getting this together, and it's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to end up this episode. So thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. We're going to try to post
Hit
a
the bell.
video once a week.
That's right. Hit the bell.
Oh, it's a bell. It's a notification bell.
You got it. Hey, thanks, brothers.
But yeah,
I'm really happy to have done this, and you guys are awesome, and thanks so much.
Yeah.
absolutely. Thanks, guys.
We love you, and we love you.
Thank you. Love you
And
too.
remember, it works if you work it, so work it, you're worth it.
If you would like to support New Beginnings by ordering a t-shirt, you can do so by emailing us your shirt size and your address, newbeginning 113023@gmail.com. New Beginnings also hosts a Narcotics Anonymous meeting Sunday night at 6 to 7 via Zoom. You can find the link on our Facebook page. Please like, comment, and share to receive more videos of this nature. Thank you so much for your support.